The night was cold, but the sweat on Thomas Grayson's brow wasn't from the chill. As a royal guard stationed outside Buckingham Palace, he was used to standing still for hours, ignoring distractions. But tonight, something was different. Someone was watching him. At first, he brushed it off. Tourists often stared, trying to make him flinch. But this wasn't that. This was different. He could feel it. A hooded man, standing at a distance, unmoving, always there. Hours passed. The man never left, never blinked, never spoke. And then, Thomas's shift ended. As he stepped into the quiet London streets, a chill ran down his spine. Footsteps. The man was following him. Thomas clenched his fists. He had seen war, lost friends, and buried regrets. But this was something else. He turned a corner, then stopped suddenly. The stranger had no time to react. They stood face to face. A deep scar ran down the man's cheek, his hood barely hiding his hollow eyes. He took a shaky breath. "I finally found you," the man whispered. Thomas stepped back. "Who are you?" The stranger pulled something from his pocket, a rusted military tag. Thomas froze. That was his military tag, the one he had lost years ago. "You saved my life and then disappeared," the man said, his voice cracking. Thomas felt his heart pound. His past, the one he had buried beneath his rigid discipline, had come back to haunt him. Years ago, before becoming a royal guard, Thomas was a soldier stationed in Afghanistan. A mission went wrong, an ambush. Chaos. Amidst the gunfire, he had found a young, wounded soldier, barely alive. Thomas dragged him to safety, shielding him with his own body. He promised to come back, to help. But when reinforcements arrived, Thomas was forced to retreat. When he returned the next day, the man was gone. No records, no traces. He was assumed dead. Thomas carried the guilt for years, but now, standing before him, was that very man, alive. The stranger's name was Daniel Carter, and Thomas's sacrifice had cost him dearly. "I waited for you," Daniel said, tears in his eyes. "But when no one came, I thought you left me to die." Thomas swallowed hard. "I thought you were dead," Daniel nodded. "I almost was, but a group of civilians found me. I lost everything, my squad, my home. But I survived, because of you." He held out Thomas's lost military tag. "This was the only thing I had left of that night." The weight of it crushed Thomas. Years of guilt, years of wondering. But then, Daniel smiled. "And now I want to thank you." Thomas was confused. "I spent years trying to find you," Daniel continued. "Because of you, I didn't give up. I built a new life. I started helping other veterans who were lost, like I was." Thomas's breath hitched. The man who had once been a broken soldier had now become a beacon of hope for others. Thomas looked at the man before him, not as a ghost from his past, but as proof that even in our darkest moments, one act of kindness can change a life. Daniel patted his shoulder. "You saved me once. Now let me return the favor." He handed Thomas an address, a Veterans Center. "Come see what you helped build." Thomas, the royal guard who had spent years standing motionless, felt something shift in him. That night, he didn't just stand at attention. He stood for something greater, because sometimes the past doesn't come back to haunt us. It comes back to heal us.